You are Locked On Braves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
That was a tough one for the Atlanta Braves at Truist Park as the Miami Marlins evened up this three-game series by just refusing to stay down in a 9-7 victory over Atlanta. This was one of those seesaw back-and-forth battles that you would think that perhaps the Braves bullpen would be well-equipped to keep another club down. Well, this was not one of those nights. It wasn't the night shift that was giving up the runs. It was just one of those couple of bad innings outings for a couple of Atlanta relievers. And the offense, despite putting up 7 runs, that was not enough to eke out a victory as 9-7. The Marlins took it, even up this series, and send us into a rubber match on Sunday. We'll get into all of that, what happened in the game, of course, get you set up for the series finale. But before we do, as always, I'm Grant McAuley. He is Jake Mastroianni. And welcome to the Braves POSTCAST, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Want to make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe here on YouTube. Click that bell. Get those notifications whenever we drop a new episode. We are here after just about every Braves game, so be sure to check us out. And be sure to subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. Not only will you get the postcast audio, but you'll be getting everything that Jake has in store for you all season long. So, Jake, let's just jump right into it. Just kind of a back and forth battle between these two clubs. And it just seemed like every time that the Braves managed to grab that lead, the Marlins just had an answer for it.
It did, and you could kind of see this coming from the beginning, just the back and forth nature of this game, and the Braves just not ever able to be, getting far enough ahead to really kind of put them out of range that you felt completely comfortable. And the bullpen, which I'm sure we get into, just not their night.
No, it was not. And these are not the names that you would usually associate with, the Braves bullpen in terms of the guys who make up that night shift or who are on the marquee. It wasn't Kenley Jansen blowing a save. It wasn't Will Smith, Tyler Matzek, guys like that giving up runs left or right. It was just a rough one for Colin McHugh, quite honestly, in the middle of the game that he came in, was unable to keep the Marlins off base. That seemed to just stem the tide for Miami. And then as the Braves were looking for answers in their bullpen, they were really unable to find them. The Marlins, though, finished on quite a flourish. They retired the last 11 Atlanta hitters, and that kept the Braves from ever being able to stage a rally to get back into this thing.
Yeah, and they were only down 2 runs. I mean, with plenty of outs left to give, and just weren't able to get that base runner. They couldn't get that walk to set up a potential game-tying home run. And I'm sure part of that's the fact that, this game is not on the offense at all. They did all that they could in this one, but got to be pretty devastating from the offensive side of things when they are doing what they were and putting up numbers, and to see the lead just continually get relinquished like that. It's got to be hard on the offense as well.
Yeah, and this is why over the course of 162, you're going to have these nights where you do score 7 runs, and it's not enough to win a baseball game. But of course, Jake, about a week and a half ago, we were hoping that the Braves could score 7 runs over the course of a couple of days because they weren't able to string the hits together. But we did see some good things in this one, namely the bottom of the lineup and the production we saw there. And we'll get into that in just a moment. Before we do, let's take a look at the line score. Marlins improving to 6-8 with their victory. 9 runs, 14 hits, no errors, 12 men left on base. Braves 7-9 now on the year after the loss. 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and 5 men left aboard for the Braves. Steven Okert didn't pitch well, but he picks up the win. He's now 2-0 in relief. Spencer Strider, meanwhile, was on the mound when the Marlins staged their 3-run rally to take the lead for good. He takes the loss as 0-1, and Tanner Scott nailed down the save in a game that lasted 3 hours and 44 minutes. Jake, I felt every minute of that one, and so did the 41,931 patrons at Truist Park on this night. It was a long game. And ultimately, at the end of the game, it was a rather frustrating outcome because the Braves offense, let's talk about this, 3 home runs in this one, leadoff home run from Ozzie Albies. He answers the Jazz Chisholm first pitch leadoff home run with one of his own in the bottom of the first. You think maybe we're off to the races with quite a battle between these two clubs. Alex Dickerson hit a big home run for the Braves. Austin Riley hit a home run for the Braves. And the bottom of the Braves order was not only setting the table for the Atlanta lineup at the top, but they were doing some big things. 5 runs scored, 4 runs knocked in for the 6 through 9 hitters in the Braves order tonight.
Yeah, that's what we've been asking for, right? Is those guys at the bottom starting to generate some offense and turn it over to the top of the lineup. We've gotten that the past couple of games now. Unfortunately, just the pitching didn't hold up in this one. I think the only 2 hitters in the lineup that didn't get a hit were Rosario and Duvall. Rosario, I'm sorry. I know you got to get a lefty in there. He's got to move down a little bit until you get him going at this point, I think. But to your point, yes, very good to see the bottom of the order get going. Dansby, another good game from him. I know he struck out in his last at bat, but another great game from him, a 2-hit game in that. And good to see Dickerson finally get rewarded. He's had some tough luck this year. Finally got one just over that right field wall for that home run, which at the time was a really big home run for the Braves. I thought that was going to kind of be his moment with this team, but unfortunately got overshadowed with the Marlins. And big credit to the Marlins in this game as well. I mean, their hitters were just hitting everything. I mean, they were not fooled up there. So after getting shut out last night, they came out on Saturday and really hit the ball extremely well.
Yeah, they did. Jazz Chisholm, of course, got the game started with a first pitch leadoff home run. Ozzie Albies did that in the bottom half of the first inning, tracking it back to 1988 when these kind of, pitch counting metrics have been in place and everything has been tracked like this. This is only the second time that a batter in the top of the first and bottom of the first have let off a game with a home run on the very first pitch. Sarah Langs dug up that stat, and it was shockingly amazing how quickly she did, because as soon as I asked for it, it was already out there 30 seconds prior. So it's something you don't see every day, but ultimately just something that might win you perhaps a trivia question or a trivia contest someday down the line. But we're going to talk about a little bit more about what was going on with the Braves pitching staff and, of course, the bottom of that lineup, and get you set up for the finale of this series as well. Before we do, though, this Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off a $500 purchase. This exclusive deal is only good through Mother's Day, though. Use the code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Every order is insured, ships free, arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. You can shop stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. We've talked a lot about what the Braves were able to do that went right in this game. We talked a little bit about what went wrong, and I just want to circle the collective line for the bullpen on this night. 4 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. The walks, Jake, really seemed to open the door for the Marlins, who were having no trouble coming up with the big hits when they needed them.
Yeah, 7 walks. And this is something, I've really been focusing on this season so far. It just seems like the Braves, every now and then, they'll have this game where they are just a ton of walks. And, it's obvious to say when they don't walk a lot of batters, they pitch much better. But that has been an issue for this team so far this season, is just the walks. And look, Ian Anderson, you said it, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, not a terrible start, but I thought he was a little bit erratic as well. He had the 3 walks, and that's why he's not able to go deeper into the ball game. Spencer Strider, he's going to struggle with walks every now and then. We know that as a young pitcher, just not his night. And interesting decision to bring him in there, I thought, in that situation. I know why you didn't bring Minter back out. I guess I understand that. But, just not his night. And then obviously McHugh as well, you already mentioned. But the walks, yes, that is troublesome, especially when you got a team like the Marlins who are, were hitting the ball extremely well tonight and then giving them free passes. And when you give them a free pass, it's basically a double with the way that they're just running all over Travis d'Arnaud right now, which is a big problem. And not just him, it's the pitchers as well, not doing a great job of holding on the runners, but they are running at will out there.
Yeah, that's been something that's been going on. It feels like for a few seasons for the Braves, not really having a deterrent behind the plate to be able to throw out these runners. But you do bring up a very important part. I'm not sure that the Braves always do the best job in holding runners aboard as well. You got to give your catcher a chance. And there were a couple tonight where Travis d'Arnaud really did not have a chance. But that's just one of the many factors that a team like the Marlins is going to have to do a lot of little things on a given night to win some baseball games. They did it extremely well tonight, and they got some free passes, some charity from the Braves pitchers. As you mentioned, 7 walks overall between the 3 from Anderson and 4 from the bullpen. And Jazz Chisholm really highlighted the night for the Marlins offense, who, again, 9 runs on 14 hits as well, throwing 7 walks. There were Marlins runners all over the place on this night. So the Braves are going to try to, get things going on Sunday in a manner in which they can perhaps keep the Marlins off base. And, it's going to be up to Bryce Elder to kind of give the Braves something they've been looking for a little bit longer than I think we would have expected, Jake. And that would be, of course, a series victory. That's what they're going to be looking for. We'll get you set up for that in just a moment. Want to let you know, betonline.net is your number one source for betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including the basketball playoffs and Major League Baseball action. Bet Online is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. BetOnline.net, where the game starts. Game will start tomorrow at Truist Park at 1:35 p.m. Eastern Time. As I mentioned, Bryce Elder, he's 1-1, ERA of 4.5. Jesus Luzardo will be on the mound for Miami, 0-1, 482. What do you see out of that pitching matchup? A couple of young guns for each of these clubs, Jake, as they play the rubber match of the series.
Yeah, and Luzardo's a big strikeout pitcher as well. You look at his strikeout numbers this year, and I have a team in the Braves who will get their strikeouts every now and then as well. So I think that's something to watch for. And then I'm excited to see Bryce Elder pitch again, see if he can go a little bit deeper this time. Hopefully he'll have better command at home this time around. That's a little out of character for him in San Diego. And I'm really curious. I touched on Strider a minute ago in the form that Snitker's using him. I don't know what the plan with him is right now. He was up in the ninth inning on Friday night in case the game got out of hand. I don't understand using him there. And then you bring him in a high leverage spot on Saturday. So I don't know what Snitker's plan is for Strider. The reason I mentioned that is because last time it worked out really well to have Strider follow up Bryce Elder. And I really like that combination just because the two are so different in the way that they pitch. I think that is kind of a good combination. So I hope Elder's able to go deep in the game, give them 5-6 innings, especially after what the bullpen went through on Saturday. But I'm excited to see what Elder can do. I like watching him pitch. I think he's a really good and fun pitcher to watch. Hopefully the offense can continue to do what they did on Saturday and Friday, the bottom of the order, continuing to get on base. That's been a strong development for this homestand, and hopefully get their first series win. Like you said, it's taking way too long into the season to say that.
It certainly has. I mean, and if you can get the bottom of the order to keep going, we know that Ronald Acuna Jr. is right around the corner, and we might actually see him before May the 6th. Brian Snitker acknowledged that to reporters prior to the game. If Ronald is playing well, that date of May 6th is not set in stone, and you might wonder how Ronald was playing on Saturday night down in Jacksonville. A couple of hits, knocked in a run, and he's just doing Ronald Acuna Jr. things. He was DHing for the Gwinnett Stripers. So through 4 games, it has looked like all systems go for Ronald. We'll see how much longer he is down on that rehab assignment, or if the Braves decide that it is time to put him back at the top of the order. It'll be interesting to see how the Braves manage their pitching. You brought up a couple of interesting points, and I feel like it bears repeating. If Bryce Elder can't go deep in this game, you've used Colin McHugh, who didn't throw a ton of pitches tonight, but didn't look sharp. You also use Spencer Strider. Both of those are kind of your multi-inning relievers. And if they weren't it, then Jesse Chavez is it. And he was working the final 2 innings of the game. So it was a very strange game in general, I think, for the Braves. But neither Strider nor McHugh threw a ton of pitches. They should be available at least in a short burst on Sunday if needed. And the rest of the bullpen is all rested up. So really, you've got a lot of options there. And then, of course, an off day is waiting for the club on Monday, and it seems weird that that'll be just the second off day as we approach the final week of April. So that's what's going on Sunday. It's the rubber match of the series, Game 3 between the Braves and the Marlins. Bryce Elder, Jesus Luzardo, 1:35 Eastern Time, first pitch at Truist Park as the Braves seek their first series win of the 2022 season. That'll do it for us. We appreciate you joining us on the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe on YouTube and the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. He is Jake Mastroianni. I'm Grant McAuley. Braves came up on the wrong side of a 9-7 score against the Marlins on Saturday night, but we will catch you soon on the Braves Postcast. And until then, so long, everyone.